Episode 381. Ye Xiu didn't shy away from it. He improved dungeon clearing efficiency by innovating and researching new tactical approaches. Thoughtful. Was he really the only one who could do this? Even Ye Xiu himself knew that wasn't necessarily true. After all, dungeons are static. Figuring out the most efficient way to clear one is far easier than making tactical decisions in a live PvP match. You don't need to be a pro player. Many veteran gamers, if they're truly willing to put in the work and study these dungeons, are capable of discovering new, more efficient methods. What made Ye Xiu special wasn't that he could find these methods. It was that he could find the most accurate method in the shortest possible time and with the fastest possible speed. After running the Sin City underground prison dungeon 3 times that morning, Ye Xiu had it all figured out. But for anyone else, the time and effort they'd have to sacrifice would be far, far greater. Take Tyrannical Ambition, for example. They'd already bought a strategy from Ye Xiu. The core of their method was still that decade-old approach, but they'd made tweaks in a few key spots. Those finishing touches, like adding the pupils to a dragon's eyes, immediately boosted the entire strategy's efficiency. This approach gave Zhang Yu a major revelation. Zhang Yu was the head guildmaster of Tyrannical Ambition. By now, he was almost as entrenched in the 10th server as Chen Yehui. Zhang Yu certainly wasn't arrogant enough to think he could rival the great Ye Xiu, but this was just a dungeon. The principles at play here were the domain of top-tier online gamers like himself. Ye Xiu's strategies gave Zhang Yu a revelation. He realized he'd always lacked this kind of inspiration, not the ability itself. Now that his inspiration had been sparked, Zhang Yu felt they might not need to trade materials for these guides after all. Perhaps they could try their hand at creating some themselves. And now, Zhang Yu was putting that inspiration into practice. Since late last night, he cycled through every available account character, running this dungeon over and over again. Since most of the accounts he was using were max-level characters, clearing this low-level dungeon was a breeze. The document Zhang Yu had opened to write his guide wasn't empty either. It already contained a fair amount of content. Just now, he'd made another discovery. He was now writing expansively in the document. Zhang Yu felt he was in excellent form and could probably finish this guide before lunch.
Guild leader, lunch is ready.
At noon, when a subordinate from the studio called out to him, Zhang Yu finally tapped out that final punctuation mark. Zhang Yu's heart swelled with excitement. He deleted the period, replaced it with an exclamation point, then, after a moment's pause, added 3 more exclamation points after it, 4 exclamation points in total, to fully express his exhilaration in that moment. Save the file, close the document. Zhang Yu stood up, his face glowing, and asked,
"What's for lunch?"
After pulling an all-nighter and staying up until now, Zhang Yu didn't feel the slightest bit tired, satisfied. He was simply in too good a mood. The Christmas event itself was a huge success. They used the opportunity to snatch back the One-Line Canyon record that had shamed him, and now they were poised to take the lead on the Dungeon of Sin City's record as well. In Zhang Yu's heart, spring had already arrived.
Guild leader, how's the 10th server doing?
Asked a subordinate from the studio.
Some satisfies. Not bad at all.
Everyone laughed in unison. Ever since Zhang Yu personally got involved in 10th server affairs, a dark cloud has hung over their Tyrannical Ambition Guild's official in-game studio. Even though none of the people in this room were directly involved in the clearing of the 10th server, they still felt the ripple effects of the situation there. Zhang Yu kept hitting walls in the 10th server, and his demands on their work grew harsher and harsher. In all these days, who in this room hasn't been chewed out? But starting with the Christmas event, it seemed the storm had finally passed. The guild leader was all smiles every day. He stopped giving lectures so often and would instead crack a joke for everyone now and then, though his jokes weren't all that funny. After the meal, Zhang Yu didn't go to sleep. He logged directly into his character on the 10th server, but at that moment, it wasn't Night-Tide Cold Abyss himself on the account. It was a leveling service grinding for him. Zhang Yu smacked his own forehead. Of course, he'd completely forgotten about that. But if someone could log in for Nightwalker Cold Pool, the two of them were obviously together. Soon enough, the real Night Crossing Cold Pool was summoned to the scene. Zhang Yu handed over the strategy guide he'd been meticulously working on, urging Cold Night Crossing to hurry up and pick his team so they could start training.
Did you get this from Ye Xiu?
After receiving the guide, Cold Night Pawn's first question was about that.
UQ? Who the hell is UQ anyway? Wait, any other choice? Would we be going to him for help? I wrote this guide myself.
Oh,
Night Frost didn't dare say much more. In his view, UQ would surely keep selling these guides too. Meanwhile, the guild leader decided to go head-to-head with the great YQ and made his own guide. The guild leader's guide and UQ's guide. Even though Cold Mountain at night was emotionally biased towards the guild leader, come on, when you put the two of them side by side, you'd have to be a complete idiot to think the guild leader was the more skilled one.
but it's just a dungeon guide.
In the end, Nightchill thought the same way. He immediately gathered his team and began drilling them with renewed intensity. Their characters on the 10th server had already used up their daily dungeon attempts for Sin City. So Cold Night Crossing the Pool told everyone to use their high-level main accounts. In any case, let's start by getting familiar with the strategy laid out in this guide. The others were following orders, but Cold Night Crossing received a message. He opened it and saw the name, Lord Grim.
Hey buddy, need a guide?
Sorry, we've already got one.
Who made it for you? Zhang Xinjie.
Night Tide Cold Pool didn't answer right away. If everyone thought it was Zhang Xinzi, and he then said it was actually guild leader Zhang Yu, well, that would clearly be a step down. Just like someone bragging about a gourmet lunch. You wouldn't proudly announce you had instant noodles, would you? Instant noodles won't earn you any bragging rights.
To Daneful.
That was Night Frost's final reply, though a twinge of guilt pricked at his conscience. He didn't have the heart to say it was the guild leader, because in that moment, he felt mentioning the leader's name was a bit embarrassing. Even if UQ was their sworn enemy, he was still YQ. As for their own characters, Night Frost felt they didn't even have the right to be considered his enemies.